Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for sparing your own time out to check out my thoughts on Disney Pixar's latest entry, Elio, which I've just got out of the cinema at the time of recording this video. Here in the UK, I don't feel like it's had a lot of marketing. I have seen the trailer once or twice playing, but I've avoided watching it because I didn't really want to know anything. Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag, this one. There's elements I really enjoyed and there's elements I think don't really work in the movie's favour. But let me get into what this is all around. Elio, who is a young boy who feels like he doesn't really belong in the world. His parents have passed away and he just feels alone. He has this obsession with aliens, so he actually makes a distress call, hoping that aliens will abduct him where he feels like he can belong in the world. So he gets his wish and he goes to a place called the Communiverse that is filled with the aliens. However, when the threat of Lord Grigon threatens to take over the Communiverse, it's up to Elio to stand up for the aliens to stop Lord Grigon. Let me go into a few positives. I mean, by now, we all know the animation is going to be solid. Absolutely no different for Elio. It's beautiful, it's stunning, it's vibrant, colourful, wacky, adventurous, risky. In terms of all that it offers with the plethora of colours and the colour scheme and palette is just bright, right? Like, this is definitely just like for kids. If they see this on screen, the bright colours are going to be like, whoa. I think they can kind of get teleported to a world that this movie is aiming to sell you on. For adults, even for me, I was like, wow, I'm really impressed by the animation, the colors I was loving that were just popping off the screen. And I like that the fact that they've brought an original concept and another original movie. There's definitely plenty of themes where they use previous Disney bought properties and they utilize them throughout. There's heavy references to Star Wars, including in the music, which is done by Rob Simonson, who, if you don't know, has done the musical numbers and score soundtrack for Deadpool and Wolverine. Absolutely no different here. You can tell the guy is behind the music, and there's plenty of space alien musical themes throughout. I think do accompany this movie very well and fit the tone of the picture that you're seeing on the screen. So in that essence, I really enjoyed that. There's some really nice messaging that you can take away in regards with friends, family, loved ones, feeling alone in the world, or at times just feeling alone with how you're feeling in your everyday life. Maybe you've got stuff going on in your own personal life that is making you feel like that. This movie definitely can help to speak towards those feelings and also, I think, conveys them in a pretty good way. So always, Pixar has, a human's heart at mind when they come with an animation picture, and I don't think that this is any different. Lord Grigon was absolutely my favourite character. I feel that he steals the show, and I really wanted more of that character because even the musical tone that fit his entrance and that kind of character number, I feel was just impactful. It was cool, and the aesthetic of the character was also really, really cool. Now, going into my negatives, and you may have mentioned where I mentioned about Lord Grigon steals the show. Unfortunately, I feel as if for most part, and I appreciate it's all part of an arc for the character, but the character of Elio that this movie is titled after, a lot of the time, he's a little bit of a selfish, obnoxious kid. And you can probably tell by the end how that's going to turn out. But I just feel as if the character didn't have enough redemption arc to fully warrant that. There was moments, I felt there was like some touching moments between him and other characters. Yes, I'll give the movie props for that. But I do feel as if the character, for some part of this, just comes across very unlikable, and it's very tough to have that fine balance, or enough so where you don't like the character, but by the end you're like, oh, I love this character, they're so great, I want to see them on more adventures. I didn't get that feeling. And when you're selling a movie that's titled Elio based on the main character and you have that feeling, I just don't think it fully works. Now, alongside this, you have a lot of aliens being introduced. You have a lot of human characters being introduced, especially as this is an original idea. It's not an established world, so you have to establish all of that story. I feel as if they throw so much at the screen, it kind of feels like you're on a roller coaster. 1 minute you're with some human characters that you don't really care about. I mean, the biggest voice cast is Zoe Saldana, and then some of the human characters get like an odd scene or two, again, which you just don't really care about those characters, or they give you very little to the point where you're like, right, well, I would have liked to have seen more of that character, because they do introduce the character that is really funny, but then they don't really give you that. And then the aliens, there's just too many of them, and again, they just don't really get much development except from one character called Gordon that fixes into the overarching story, and that's about it. I just feel as if they kind of threw everything at the window, threw so many characters at us in this picture, to the point where you're like, right, do I really end up caring about any of them? And the short answer is, unfortunately for me, not really. I feel like the story, yes, there's some good themes and messages that I've mentioned throughout, but I just don't think they're fully utilized because of those other negatives that I had. So as for an overall score, I liked the movie. I didn't hate it, but I'd probably say I'm down the middle. So probably a 2.5, 2.5 between there and a 3 stars out of 5 maximum. But hey, did you like this picture? Maybe it might have just been me. Let me know down below in the comment section so we can continue the discussion down there. Thank you so much for checking this out. And in the meantime, if you haven't seen these videos of mine, we'll click over here. Have yourself a bit of a deep dive in the channel. Till the next time that I see you guys, I'll be seeing you later.